beat the Spurs last night. Their 8th straight win.
What up,
hey.
Doc?
The Lakers now an NBA best 15-2.
Yes,
Jalen, are you surprised everything clicked for them so quickly?
I am not surprised because they're sharing the basketball, El, and LeBron James hadn't played meaningful basketball since April, so he's rested. He understands that he has Anthony Davis now. This is a championship-level roster. He's knocking down three-point shots. He's leading the league in assists. He's been phenomenal this year.
He's the real father prime this year. How about Giannis? He put up a 50 ball. By the way, 0 turnovers as well, and the Bucks win over the Jazz. Where have you seen the biggest improvement in Giannis's game?
So Giannis is doing it in all phases. You see now, that's a walk-up three without a pass that he's making the shot. When you're guarded by a smaller guy on the post, he does not have a chance. And Giannis continues to attack. Second chance points, they were really dominant. Wesley Matthews made 4 3-point shots in the third quarter, helped him get back into the game. But Giannis's continued dominance and aggression is something that we haven't seen in a long time.
Okay, we haven't seen Carmelo Anthony in a long time, and then we have. And he had his best game since his return, a season-high 25 points in Portland's win at the Bulls. How would you grade his return so far?
I'll give him a B because a guy that's been out of the league for a year, you come on the road in Chicago and you lead both teams in scoring with 25 points in a big-time victory. But I must say something about the underachieving Chicago Bulls. They need a new coach. They really do because they have so much young talent on that squad, and I don't think they're developing properly.
Joel Embiid, certainly talented, nevertheless held scoreless for the first time in his career, shooting 0 from 11 from the field in the Sixers' loss at Toronto. What happened to him?
And shout out to Lala for getting his son on the FaceTime. I appreciate that. But so we talk so much about the home field advantage that Miami has when people travel there. Let me tell you something. For somebody that's played in Toronto, that home field advantage is really distinct. Those Toronto streets are undefeated, and Joel Embiid just became the latest victim. 0 points on the road. Give Marc Gasol a lot of credit doing a great job of locking them down.
We the North. I also want to talk to you about something that happened over the weekend. It was Adrian Wojnarowski breaking the news that the league is in discussions to make multiple changes to the league for the 2021-22 season. So it would include reducing the number of games played during the regular season. They would add a mid-season tournament with every team in the league involved. It would also include a play-in series where the 7 through 10 seeds play for the final 2 playoff spots. And they're talking about potentially reseeding the conference finals. So, Jalen, out of all of these proposals, what do you like the most?
A few things. So, load management does not necessarily dictate the number of games that are played in a regular season. Players miss a percentage of the games played. Therefore, whether it's 82-game schedule or 78-game schedule, players are still going to miss the games. That's just the reality of it. They don't value the regular season as much anymore. I do like the fact that they're talking about reseeding the Final Four of the NBA playoffs and the finals. The problem with that is the Eastern Conference, for example, is a lot weaker.
Yes.
So the Bucks are going to play Eastern Conference foes 52 times. It's a lot tougher out west. The Lakers and Clippers are going to have to go through the gauntlet. So therefore, the Bucks are going to always have a better record than those two teams. Mm-hmm. So therefore, they will always be the number 1 seed under this theory. I think this is getting us closer toward a 1 through 16 seed.
There it is.
It's something that I've been talking about for a long time that I wish the league adopted.
I was going to say, so a 5th proposal maybe, courtesy of Jalen Rose right here. What do you think of the efforts, though, to change it? Like, what do you think it says about the NBA that they're actually looking at making really systemic changes?
Well, they're paying attention to the product, and they understand that the players don't take the regular season as serious as they used to. So now all of a sudden you got to institute things throughout the regular season to make it more exciting for the fans and for the players. That's why they're talking about a tournament possibly between Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. You're instituting these other rules just so the guys can create a level of enthusiasm throughout the schedule. Okay,
so outside of the systemic changes, though, do you think there should be some kind of proposal in terms of the load management, right? In terms of making sure that these guys are playing. We've seen Doris Burke very critical of that, and these guys aren't playing on national teams. So do you think they should address that before any of these
I've been critical of that as well, but here's the problem, Mel.
All right.
Sometimes it's legislated by the team. The Memphis Grizzlies held 19-year-old Ja Morant out of basketball games. So if you want to punish the players, one easy way to do it, if you finish the previous game and you don't play the next game, you get all zeros on the stat sheet.
Interesting.
You still get your check,
right?
But you get all zeros on the stat sheet.
Right. And that could be in fact, because I was going to say, that impacts bonuses and other things like that as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so make it a little bit more personal. Jalen Rose, appreciate you joining us.
Appreciate the love.
Run the floor.
Atomic. Atomic.
Yeah, all of that. Looking good,
Autumnal.
Yeah, all that. First, sure, I got what you meant. First Take's coming up next. Stephen A. and Max are going to debate whether Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the NFL. Plus, who's the early season MVP? Is it Giannis or LeBron? That's First Take in around 5 minutes right here on ESPN.
Touchdown, Marquise Brown. Lamar Jackson just continues to be red hot. We got a Jackson 5. Lamar with 5 touchdown passes.
The sights and sounds of a Monday night beatdown. That's what it was last night in L.A. in Hollywood, where the stars come out. Lamar Jackson was just as good as you could possibly be. And I'm thinking back to that terrific conversation that we heard on the sideline between him and his head coach, John Harbaugh, a couple of weeks ago, where Harbaugh said, you know how many kids are going to be wearing your number playing quarterback as we go forward? It does make me think, is Lamar Jackson 1 in a million? Is this something that we have never, it's certainly something we've never seen before. Is it something we'll never see again? Or is this the beginning of what might become the new normal in pro football, where we're going to start seeing high school kids, they're going to give the best athlete to football and say, you be the quarterback, which is something that historically through the game, for a lot of reasons that we won't get into, but most of them not so pretty, has not been the case.
Gee, that's why you're so damn good, but I ain't touching it. No, I don't think so. I think the answer to that question is no. And here's the thing that we miss about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson mental makeup is something that we don't talk about enough. Lamar Jackson wants to destroy you. He's not just playing to win or to be a really good quarterback in the NFL. His mindset is to put you under the ground when he playing. That's why he's frustrated when he trips and doesn't score a touchdown. Because you know what? He threw 5, but he wanted 7. You know, and I'm not sure if you can force that into somebody. That's why I'm apprehensive to say that we'll see another one of
them. But the insane competitiveness, that's not commonplace, but I mean, this exists, right, amongst other players. They just can't do what he can do.
That's true. I mean, he has different tools than a lot of other players, a lot of other quarterbacks. But I do think you make a great point. I think that when we grew up, the most athletic player on the field was going to be a running back or going to be a wide receiver. Now I think coaches are saying, you're athletic, we can get you to throw the ball, we can teach you how to throw the ball, you're going to be a quarterback because of what Lamar's been doing so far. So I think that's a really good point, Greeny.
I think teaching somebody to throw football is a very difficult task. You know, like when you watch Lamar throw and the types of throws he makes, that wasn't taught in private teaching. Like something that you're born with and you kind of refine over the years and you grew up with and you're playing, like those things are innate abilities that are really developed just through playing as a kid. And we're not going to have 10 Lamar Jacksons in 10 years. Lamar is a freak, and it's the intellect, it's the intelligence, it's the body dip, it's the arm angle, it's the accuracy, it's the anticipation, it's the wheels, it's everything tied into a guy that is the 0.01% here. And that's why we're not going to have 1,000.
And another thing to think about, you gotta ask yourself, because 31 other teams weren't willing to accept who Lamar Jackson was.
No, 28 teams passed on him.
28 teams, but you think about that, ushering in that movement as well. Like, I just don't know if.
Do you know what one of the teams that passed on him was? The Ravens. It was their second pick of the first round. I used to take him.
Great point.
I didn't
give him that much credit.
All right. So anyone who tells you they knew this was coming is not telling you the truth.
Yeah.
So that's a young quarterback at the beginning of what looks like a spectacular career. Let's talk about a guy at the other end of that. Let's talk about Tom Brady and the Patriots. They're 10-1, but you'd never know it by listening to him. He's thrown 1 touchdown in his last 2 games, completing only 51% of his passes. Here's what he had to say yesterday.
I have a job to do, and I want us to do as best as we possibly can each week, like I always have. Everybody puts a lot into it, and you want to see a great performance. And when it's less than that, I don't know what I should feel other than what's authentic to me and what's authentic to my own personal feelings and beliefs about how we should be performing and, what we need to do in order to do better.
Yeah, they need to do better. This is new territory for Brady, and the Patriots are outside the top 20 in so many of these very meaningful offensive categories. Only the Jets and Dolphins average fewer yards per yards per rush, and those teams are a combined 6 and 16. So, looking at the way the Ravens are playing, we didn't have you here yesterday, so I'll give this to you first. The Patriots are 10-1, so it's very hard to sit here and say we're worried about them, but the offense just looks so pedestrian. What do you think?
Gee, the offense is my issue with the Ravens. Look, with the Patriots, we've given benefit of the doubt to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, obviously, because of what they've done. They've created that for themselves. in this particular year, that guy that we just finished talking about, it don't line up for him well because that historic defense was slaughtered by Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And when I look at the Patriots have always been able to, in the playoffs, down the stretch of a season, to have success. Now, this is still a great indictment on Bill Belichick, the fact that they're struggling offensively and still have a 10-1 record. But with that being said, we're not comparing the New England Patriots to their record. We only compare the New England Patriots to Super Bowls. Right. And that's the unfair territory that they put themselves in. And as of right now, I don't see them beating the Ravens in order to win a Super Bowl.
That video you were watching there was the Ravens just demolishing the Patriots just a few short weeks ago. You said you still believe in the Patriots, Des?
I believe in the Patriots because I like the fact that they do have a great defense. They did that during the regular season. We all know the playoffs, completely different season. You're not going to do that again to the Patriots. The offense isn't hitting on all cylinders, but Tom Brady's a perfectionist. That's why he's so frustrated. He's going to make sure they get to that Super Bowl type level when the playoffs come.
If that's the AFC Championship game and it's in Foxborough, who do you like?
New England, until someone, I've said this for weeks now, until someone goes in and slays that giant, I won't believe it.
How important is it that the game is in Foxborough?
That will determine who wins or loses the game.
What if the team that come in there got an alien playing for them?
No, and listen, I've raved about them all day, right? I've called them indefensible.
Yes.
Unless you have a cyborg at head coach. The biggest thing for the Patriots offense, trust. Tom's got to find someone to trust other than Edelman.
All right, much more football as we go, but it was a very busy night in the NBA.